One former CEO is here to tell us which companies are getting it right and which are not. Live from Davos is Bill George, former CEO of Medtronic and a CNBC contributor. Bill, it's great to see you.
Kayla, it's a great day here. You missed a great day of skiing, although we weren't skiing. We're in meetings all day.
Oh, sure. That's what you like to tell us. But, Bill, you are the CEO whisperer of sorts. I'm wondering what you're hearing from some of these CEOs in Davos. What they're saying is the biggest challenge to operate in this environment.
Well, clearly, there's huge volatility. And I think the CEOs who are doing well are those that are highly adaptable to changing conditions. A person like Paul Pullman at Unilever that's got a very diversified market portfolio. So China, China growth, no one knows what China growth is right now. But I can tell you, they're very strong in Vietnam. Vietnam's going up 7.5%. I spent the last 10 days there, and things are booming there. So I think you have to be adaptable today. Talked to Mary Barra at Sam Langton General Motors. Boy, this is not your grandfather's General Motors. She is really moving that company forward. And I talked to her about China. She said, look, there's 10 million vehicles going to be sold. There's tremendous potential. And so a lot of American companies are seeing now is the opportunity to grab share, to move the company forward while there's so much uncertainty. So as Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you find out it's swimming naked. So I think the weak companies are going to struggle, but the strong companies are going to move ahead right now.
But what is the risk that some of these CEOs make knee-jerk decisions or have a knee-jerk reaction to what's going on in the market, where the stock market used to be a referendum on certain initiatives that they were taking, whether it's growing or paring back? They were able to see what the market thought of a certain decision. Now it's only central banks that can move the stocks. And if you're a CEO, how do you read what your stock is doing and what you should do as an executive?
Well, the CEOs I'm talking are not reacting to the stock market. It's been 6 or 7 years of up markets, so this is a natural correction. And they have their strategies, and they're adapting to move forward. For instance, we look at falling oil prices. No one knows what's going to happen to the price of oil. There's many people think it's going to go further down as up. There's going to be a lot of production. I personally think it's going to stay down for a long time. So the inefficient companies are going to get squeezed out, and there's going to be a lot of stress. The strong companies like an Exxon will do just fine, and they'll come back strong. But companies are going to take advantage of it. The automobile companies are going to take advantage of this market. The retailers are seeing tremendous opportunities. I had breakfast with Doug McMillon and Walmart. Walmart's got a lot of changes, but Doug is moving those changes forward. Brian Cornell at Target, who's not here, is really moving his company forward very aggressively, and they're going to be more dollars in consumers' pockets. So I can't think we can look at all these things as a negative. A lot of them are quite positive, depending on what sector you're in.
Bill, you say that the companies that are inefficient will be in trouble, and got to wonder, is that code for layoffs are coming, whether companies are doing well or not in this type of environment? Do you expect to see job cuts or at least a pullback in hiring?
I do in many cases. I think companies are going to drive to be efficient, and unfortunately it means more job cuts, and that's a problem we haven't solved yet. So I think you will see some jobs cut in different places around the world. I think it's inevitable that companies are going to have to do that to become more efficient. We've already seen significant Walmart layoffs. You're probably going to see more in the retail sector, but nonetheless, people are going to move forward. The ones that are doing strong. By the way, a sleeper company out there, Adidas, has a new CEO, and I think you can see a lot of competition with Nike going forward and also Under Armour. This is Casper Orsted. And so I think you should bet on leadership at this time. Don't just bet generically. I think you have to pick the winners of who they're going to be and be very selective investments. You can't just go across the board and say, who are the companies that are going to come out of this strong? A company like Nestle, a company like PepsiCo, I think are going to be the winners coming out of the consumer sector.
Well,
and companies like Kraft and Heinz are going to.
The leaders who you say are going to get this right, is the common thread that they are retrenching now for a true downturn to come? Is that what they have in common?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of them have already cut costs. I don't think it's retrenching. I think they're just getting more efficient, getting their costs in line. But I tell you, the real winners, honestly, are going to be the innovators. My former company, Medtronic, I talked to several of their executives. They've got a full pipeline, and their business is growing in markets that are flat. That's what I think that's what is going to make this thing go. The tech companies nothing's going to hold them back in this environment. They are going to continue to boom. Go ahead.
Bill, you say, I was interested, you say McDonald's is getting it wrong. Do you mean they were getting it wrong, or they're still getting it wrong, despite the fact that investors seem to be pretty cheered by some of the changes they've made so far?
Well, I think Steve Easterbrook has made very good changes. Clearly, they have a problem, but they've got a demographic problem. They're stuck in a declining demographic. And if you're stuck in basically an older blue-collar market, that's a tough demographic. The most important thing for any company today, particularly consumers companies, to get it right with the millennials, the tech companies, and those that don't appreciate the millennials, that don't have millennial leaders, are going to struggle. So I think you want to look at companies who really understand the millennials in depth and know how to meet their needs, whether it's a company like Starbucks compared to McDonald's, or whether it's a retailer like Target. They're the ones that seem to understand this. You see a lot of the clothing manufacturers kind of out of it. And I think the ones that understand the millennials, that's going to be the big market that's growing, not the older demographic, not my generation.
Those finicky millennials. I know all those companies up on the board are trying to figure it out. We'll see who actually succeeds. Bill, enjoy the slopes. Hopefully you can see them tomorrow.
Okay, thanks so much.
Bill
Nice
George,
to be
the
with you.
former CEO of Medtronic.